Hello and welcome to the third episode of Let's Talk. Let's Talk is about meeting with people around the world, sharing the brands, sharing influencers and motivators around the world. Today I have Mr. Raj Badhwar from India. Mr. Raj, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you for having me.
How are you today?
Very well, thank you.
Fantastic. We know that this is an era of changes. We know that transformational change, lot of things are going around the society as a whole. And when you talk about transformation, Raj Badhwar is a chief transformation officer at Bliss Ocean. And he's an author of Freedom from Fetters by Taking Action in the Playground.
I am really passionate about transforming people, processes, and performance.
Yeah.
I kind of launched this ocean in December of 2019, which coincided with the advent of COVID-19.
Hmm.
Having said that, that also presented an opportunity for me to, gather my thoughts together to write a book that I had been wanting to write for years. So lockdown was a period when I got time to, gather my thoughts and write a book, which is called Freedom from Fetters by Taking Action in the Playground, which is basically about how we put our self-imposed fetters in our own minds that
Yeah.
leads to stress, anxiety, depression, and
Hmm.
how we can be a childlike and handle some of the things that adversity a way a child would handle. And
Hmm.
that's the book is all about. I
Yeah,
think we are talking about transformation that's happening in the industry.
exactly.
A lot of organizations are talking about digital transformation, artificial intelligence, machine learning. So people are as confused as they were in the past, or about how technology is going to possibly shape the future.
Exactly. So I was coming to this topic because I was stunned by some of the reports which are coming in, and when I was reading the Future of Jobs report by the World Economic Forum, which was published in October 2020, one statement struck me the most: the time spent on current tasks at work by humans and machines will be equal. So, which means that in the future we are expecting an equal role by machines and humans. So, which means AI is going to, or artificial intelligence is going to take over, or this confusion came into my mind. So that's why let's talk about the future of jobs today, how it's going to affect people's mindset in all together. So my first question to you is, with AI coming in and making an impact by automating most of the works, what is your take on the future of jobs? Like, is it in the wake of intelligent automation? Which you have any special reference of to speak in regards to the subject?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I'm really very passionate about future technologies and artificial intelligence. In fact, there was a study published by Oxford University Press that's stating that 47% of the jobs would be taken away by automation by
Hmm.
2025.
Yeah.
And that is something that I would want to challenge, and I will give you 3 points as to why I'm saying so. So I would like to take you way back in 1964, Jason, when the two Nobel laureates presented and prepared a triple revolution report for the then American president,
Hmm.
which stated that America is on the brink of economic and social upheaval because millions of jobs would be lost to industrial automation.
Yeah.
And we know, the rest is history. In 1960, the global GDP
Hmm.
was 1.37 trillion US dollars. And the figures that I have of 2019, it was around $86 trillion.
Oh my God.
So there have been no better opportunities than we have now. So that is, one thing. Now let's time travel to early 70s or late 70s or early 80s,
Hmm.
when personal computing was the talk of the day. And if I do not know whether you were born that time or not, but there was a lot of revolt, a lot of protests against computerization, because most of the tasks, documents, records were transactions were manual that time, and it
Yeah.
was feared that computerization would take away all those jobs.
Hmm.
Typewriters were the saviors of that time, and they
Correct.
got redundant overnight. How
Correct.
many typists lost their jobs? It's just that, their job changed. A new kind of a job was created that was called data entry operations,
Correct.
which of course is even redundant now because of technology like OCR. But
Yeah.
very clearly there was a job transformation rather than jobs being taken away, right? Internet was invented in 1983, although the early adoption, the high adoption of internet happened in early 90s.
Yeah.
Post offices, were kind of replaced overnight with emails coming in. But how many post offices actually got closed, or how many postmen lost their jobs? Or if we talk about banks, the banks are as busy as ever,
Yeah.
right? Despite everything going online. So with the advent of internet, the kind of jobs that came in that were not there, prior to that, were like web designing jobs, web publishing, web administrator, network engineering jobs. They didn't exist. So these were the new kinds of jobs that came over.
Yeah.
E-commerce enabled millions of job opportunities, right? And when we talk about today, jobs that exist today like RPA administrators, RPA analysts, artificial intelligence engineers, machine learning engineers, cloud computing engineers, they didn't exist some 10 years back or so. These are all new jobs that have been created. So
Yeah.
I think the Oxford studies and many other studies that talk about that technology is going to take away jobs did not take into account job transformation or job creation. In
Correct.
fact, the NASSCOM estimates, as per the NASSCOM estimates, there would be reduction in jobs. 30% of jobs would be reduced. That will be low-skilled jobs. However, there would be an increase in mid-skilled jobs by 8% and high-skilled jobs by 56%. So very clearly, it is going to be even Steven. And in my eyes, I view it as, having more job opportunities than ever. That is point number one. Point number two that we need to understand is the difference between manual labor and knowledge labor.
Correct.
When you talk of manual labor, for example, we have to automate manual labor of assembling a car. So car chassis has to be put in the car. So there, if we deploy robotics for that, so there will be a robot that will pick up the chassis from point A and put it on
Point B.
point B. So
Yeah.
there's not going to be any going back to that task again. But manual labor is different, and the automation of manual labor is going to be considerably different from that of knowledge labor is going to be considerably different from that of manual labor.
Yeah.
So the atomic unit of knowledge can be used many times over, right? And can become valuable over time. Now,
Yes.
if you've understood the difference between manual labor and knowledge labor, we need to also understand that there's a difference between a job and a task.
Correct.
Now, job consists of many tasks.
Correct.
Let's say, for example, in capital markets, there's a process called reconciliation. So if I am a person who is currently doing that work, what I have to do is I have to compare the two data sources. So let's say, for example, let's call first data source as fund family and the other source is trust. Now, as a knowledge worker, what I have to do is whether these sources are matching or not. Now, this kind of work doesn't require any human judgment or discretion. All that needs to be checked is that whether point A is matching with point B.
That's a
That
reconciliation.
can be taken over. Yeah. So that can be taken over by a robot, by deploying robotic process automation.
Yeah.
But what if in case that is not matching up, right? The two data sources are not matching up. That would require the person to do some research to find out why is it not happening. That a robo will not be able to do.
Correct.
So a job that is made up of many tasks, some of the tasks can be automated, while the other tasks cannot be automated. So tasks which require human judgment, discretion, decision making, problem solving, these tasks will not be automated.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
So I believe that Oxford study did not take this into account. So in my opinion, jobs will be transformed, enhanced, and created. So this is what it is all about. So it's very clearly, I don't think so that there's anything to be scared about, that automation is going to be taking away jobs. They will take away the tasks, but human beings will move up the value chain and do things that we are meant to do, and
Yeah.
not the things that can be taken over by automation.
When it comes to, I mean, this much explanation and talking about human interference and automation, you correctly mentioned that human intervention is needed to make the research part. So my next question was actually regarding this. What is your take on some who view that technology would result in human destruction? So is there
Okay.
a point of discussion on this one from your part?
Yeah, so there are three views. One is the dystopian view that believes that technology will destroy humanity.
Hmm.
The other is a utopian view that would view technology as the solution for everything,
Correct.
right? But I think I hold a view that is more pragmatic in nature. That means that we can in future we can use technology, and that
Hmm.
technology can help us to a great extent if we make practical and ethical decisions. So
Yeah.
I hold a pragmatic view to that.
Fantastic. Uh, Before concluding this session, talking about the future of jobs, what should be the attitude of people? Like, what are their mental state of mind, or what should people do to be ready for the future to achieve this, or to remove this confusion between machine learning or AI, which would distract human minds?
Okay, again, I don't want to scare you or anybody else, but there is a study that has been done by Dell Technologies and published
Mhm.
by Institute for the Future that says that 85% of the jobs that are going to be existing in 2030 do
Mhm.
not exist today,
Okay.
right? So, having said that, how is it that we can make ourselves future ready?
Mm.
One thing I think we need to understand is that uh, domain expertise is going to be the thing.
Yeah.
Specialization is going to be the thing. I'm not too sure whether you've heard of something called human instrumentation, where,
Mm.
as we're talking, there are around 20,000 to 30,000 people who have chips inserted
Mm.
in their bodies,
Exactly. Yeah.
right?
I heard about it.
So, in fact, Elon Musk has formed a company called Neuralink.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about Internet of Things, where devices are connected to each other. In
IoT. Yeah.
future, human beings are going to be connected to the devices, and
Correct.
that is what Elon Musk's company Neuralink is talking about. So
Mhm.
what's going to happen is, let's say, for example, human instrumentation is going to allow us to find out whether we will catch cold in 15 days from now or not,
Mhm.
or we are going to catch fever in 10 days or not, so that we can take medicines, and there would be a message that would pop up that this is the likelihood of you catching the virus, so take this medicine,
Mhm.
right? So the general or the generic work of what a physician does today
Yeah.
may become redundant tomorrow.
Correct.
So the generic skills that come handy today may not be handy tomorrow, because all that, to a great extent, will be done by machines. But
Mm.
let's say, for example, if there is a report that I get that there is a likelihood of the artery or the vein getting blocked,
Mhm.
then you will not go to the physician. You will directly go to the cardiologist or a neurologist. So that is the role that specialization is going to play, and therefore domain knowledge becomes extremely important.
Mhm.
Generic work, okay, will become much lesser and would be left for the machines to do.
Yeah.
That is one.
Mhm.
Second is human skills are going to be extremely important, right?
Mhm.
We have seen during COVID-19 how skills like resilience, grit, okay,
Mhm.
have become very important, because in the known situations we can rely upon our skills, but in the situations which are uncertain, which are unknown, we have to lean on our attributes.
Yeah.
And therefore skills like creativity, communication, problem solving, critical thinking would become extremely important. And like I said, that human instrumentation is going to be happening very soon, and it's not going to be a part of fiction movies anymore.
Mhm.
While we will be connected with people in the remotest part of the world, we may lose that connection with ourselves, and therefore mindfulness will become a very important skill of the future,
Yeah.
right? So we will have to be mindful of that. So the ability to gain knowledge will be more valuable than
Mm.
the knowledge itself,
Correct.
right? And therefore, one, we need to prepare for that. A very good analogy that I had heard was that if acquiring a professional qualification was equivalent to building a cemented house, which
Mm.
means that if I had an MBA degree or an engineering qualification or a specialized qualification, then I will feel secured as if I feel secure in a cemented house.
Yeah.
But in future, we need to start building tents and erecting tents,
Mm.
because things will change so fast that if we rely only on the cemented house, right, we
Mm.
will be stagnant and we will not move ahead. And therefore, we need to start learning to then, erect tents and, put it on a new place. So
Yeah.
acquiring new skills will become extremely important.
Correct.
And therefore, learning will play a very important role. And the last thing that I like to talk about is that there will be certain career options
Mm.
that will be extremely, I would say, protected from automation. Options like arts, hospitality, travel and tourism, building life experiences, entertainment, sports will be huge career options that will be very difficult to automate in future.
Fantastic. So this is the most practical session on future of works because people are afraid will AI take over. In fact, 2021 is going to be a year of transformation because 2020 we have seen the most transformation year, and then 2021 again it's going to take over, and we have just passed 1 month and almost second month mid. So Raj, thank you so much for sharing so much knowledge on the subject of future of works. And I'm sure that there's something to be learned, or we can say we have to keep on learning, or we have to keep on researching.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as you said, we have to upgrade our skills. That's the only option left before us to be competent enough. Yeah, that's correct.
Absolutely, yes. And then, I think I like to add on one thing. Because of this human instrumentation,
Hmm.
life expectancy is going to go up like anything. So today, if the average life expectancy is around 70 years,
Hmm.
probably 10 years, 20 years down the line, it's going to be 110, 120 years. So we are going to
Hmm.
have careers which are going to be much, bigger than, what we have today. Today,
Yeah,
people retire at 58, 60, 65,
true.
right? But in future, the retirement age would be around 110 years or so. Who knows? So it will require for us to, learn continuously.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the time, Raj. All the best for your career. All the best for Bliss Ocean
Thank
also.
you so much. All the best to you too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.